Hi, and welcome to this lecture on control flow. In this lecture, we are going to talk about what control flow is, operators, conditional statements, break and continue statements, exception handling statements. Okay, so let's get kicked off. So what is control flow? Control flow in Python refers to the order in which statements are executed within a program. Basically, how we control, how our code behaves, and how we structure that. So Python provides various control flow methodologies that allow you to control the execution of the code based on certain conditions or events. These control flow methodologies include operators, which are used to compare two values and return a Boolean value, true or false. So this is based on whether the comparison is true or false. Conditional statements. So if, else if, or else. These statements allow you to execute different code blocks based on the outcome of a logical test. For example, you might use an if statement to check if a variable is greater than 5, and execute one block of code if it is, and another block if it isn't. Loops. So for loops or while loops. Loops allow you to execute the same block of code multiple times, either a fixed number of times or until a certain condition is met. For example, you might use a for loop to iterate over the elements of a list, or use a while loop to repeat the code block until a certain condition is no longer true. Break and continue statements. These statements allow you to modify the behavior of loops. The break statement allows you to exit a loop prematurely, while the continue statement allows you to skip over the current iteration of a loop and continue on to the next one. Exception handling statements, so like try, except, and finally. These statements allow you to handle errors and other exceptional conditions that might occur during the execution of a program. So, for example, you might want to use a try statement to attempt to execute a block of code that might raise an exception, and use an exception statement to handle an exception if it is raised. So by using these control flow statements, you can write more complex code programs that can respond to different conditions and events, and in some circumstances work during any possibility within a certain scenario. And obviously this gives us huge amounts of power as developers to give user-facing tools that give ready, tailor-made feedback to the user, but also to give very powerful tools that won't just fall over if they find a hurdle and break and then need someone to go and fix them, but able to catch the error, handle it logically, and then continue onto the next part of the code, which is also needed to run. So we're going to go into these statements a lot more in the next few lectures, so stick with me, and I will try and enlighten you to what the meaning of all of these control flow methodologies are. Thank you so much for listening, and let's jump right in.